And it looks like we are now live. Yes, we are. And 0 watching to begin with. Hey, that's alright. Maybe I'll noodle for a bit. Seeing as how this lesson is going to be published, or this live stream lesson is going to be published, I'm going to talk about what the hell's going on. So, title of the video, currently, Japanese Scales and Live Riffs live stream. This is to go over a bunch of, well, 10 riffs total, using the 10 scale shapes from the Hirajoshi and Kamui scales. So, what I have prepared first, so instead of just doing much talking in the beginning, although I need to wait until at least a few people show up, I suppose, we got 10 riffs written and ready to demonstrate. 5 from the Hirajoshi scales and 5 from the Kamui, and then I'm going to talk about kind of like how to play these riffs, talk about the names and how some people call the Hirajoshi the Kamui and vice versa, and how there seems to be a lot of conflicting information out there about these things. So I'm going to just get the demonstration stuff ready, and then after this is done playing, I'm going to break down riff by riff. The screen where I can see comments and whatnot will be covered up for the most part. I will be taking time to do question stuff at the end of all the discussion, but if I see a question pop up and I notice that, I will do my best to answer it as I go, but I will definitely catch up with all the questions at the end. So, getting the demonstration stuff ready here. And here we go. Okay, so those are all the 10 riffs there. And if anyone just tuned in, just so you know, the comment section for the live stream is currently covered up. I'm just going to go through all the stuff that I wanted to talk about. I will hit up questions, absolutely, after I'm done doing all the demonstration stuff. So leave your questions. I'm going to get to them. So now I'm going to kind of break things down, one by one. I'm going to bring up the scale stuff first. So the first ones that were being used were the Hirojoshi, also known as Hirajoshi. I've seen both spellings, and let's see. Nope, I changed the wrong window. My apologies. I'm quite new to the whole streaming thing. I keep grabbing the wrong thing. Anyway, forget it. So, you just don't get to see me at the moment. So, the top scale there sounds like this. And now back to me. So it might look familiar to a lot of people out there. This is basically taking the A minor natural scale and it's omitting 2 notes. So one thing I learned, a lot of these Oriental or Asian sounding scales are pentatonic, so 5 notes. And actually, I came across a site where they talked about Chinese scales, and all the scales that they had listed there were just your standard pentatonics. Oops. There we go. So, I think that's a big thing to take away from if you want to study Asian sounds or music and whatnot. It seems to be predominantly pentatonic. And so for this one here, we're basically taking that minor shape and it's eliminating the 4th note and the 7th note there. So if you count the notes like this, just number them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to number 1, an octave apart. It's eliminating number 4 and number 7. So the first riff, I'm going to pull that back up. In just one moment, please. In fact, I can just do it like this. Hang on. Wrong thing. My apologies. As I mentioned, I'm quite new to the whole live streaming thing. I will get better at this as I go. Open with. Here we go. Okay. Let's bring that back up. Okay, so that one's pretty straightforward. I'm going to bring up the tab next. There we go. now I'll play it slowly with that. So one thing I really tried to do with this, and what I try and do with all of the examples, is try and start and resolve with the root note of these scale shapes. So that one was pretty simple one to do. The second one here, let's see. This one was also fairly straightforward. Alright, so here's the whole tab. Go ahead and play slowly to it. Apologize for not having myself on the screen at the same time. I thought I had all this stuff figured out and able to do exactly what I wanted, but apparently not. I guess maybe that's what I get for using a free program. Anyway, so here we go in the second mode. So I should probably bring up the actual scale first. There we go. So the second one right now, starting on a B note. So it's using the same 7 notes as the first scale shape. And just like you have 7 modes that happen in your major scale, so you're going to have 5 modes that happen in this Hirajoshi scale, because you have 5 notes to build upon and have all that scale stuff happen. So if you look up at the top of the screen right there, you see the notes used: A, B, C, E, and F. And you can move these scales anywhere up and down the fretboard. So if you started it on G, I'll bring myself back up here. So anyway, if you started this on G, like you did the first scale shape, it's this, you're just playing the Hirajoshi on G, and you move it down here. You can move it over here. So just like any scale, you can move it up and down the fretboard. So anyway, back to this. So the second scale, to me, I think of the Locrian mode when using this one. It's got your flat second, and then it has your flat 5 as well. 2 very strong characteristics in the Locrian mode. So Locrian mode being this: you have your root, flat second, flat third, fourth, flat 5, flat 6, flat 7, back to the root note. The second mode here in this Hirajoshi scale, you have a root note, flat second, fourth interval, or perfect fourth, flat 5, and a flat 7 as well. I remember, like, many years ago, like 18 years ago, like 1 or 2 years after I first started playing guitar, I wanted to see, what kind of exotic scales and interesting sounds that they had out there, because I really liked the harmonic minor, and Hungarian minor. So looking to see what other things are out there, I think I came across the second scale here, and calling it the Japanese scale, I believe it was. It was the Japanese or Oriental, and I remember playing it. It's like, that does sound very Japanese to me. So anyway, back to the riff written using this scale. And in case some of you guys are wondering why the hell is he having such a hard time with this, I want to explain real quick. And maybe if someone can leave in the comments a stream software they recommend. But basically, I had all the windows I wanted to use today all set up in my sources window, set to capture a specific window, right? But for some reason, it doesn't matter which thing I have open on one monitor. I got two monitors. I got one that I'm looking at right now, and then the other one, which I have all the material up on. Well, I had the video stuff ready, I had the tab stuff ready. I was just going to click a button and everything's supposed to just pop up. But it's not doing that. Basically, all the window sources that I have to capture all this stuff, it's whatever the hell I have up, it captures that anyway. It's not capturing the damn thing I wanted it to capture in the first place. So that's why I'm stumbling around at the moment, because, I don't know, like I said, new to it. I'll get it figured out. I'll get better at it. So anyway, here we go. The riff using that second mode in the Hirajoshi scale. So writing that one, that wasn't too bad on resolving back to that B note. Some of these, and I'll be talking about it, were a pain in the fucking ass to get the sound the way that I wanted to. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to bring up the next video that I want to do. Let me see if something else will work here. I'm going to try a different approach and see if it makes it a smoother transition from things. Okay, that actually worked pretty well. So instead of opening up the video from the folder itself, I just got to do it through the player. Alright, so that was the third mode or scale shape found in the Hirojoshi scale family. So there you go. Starting on the C note. And I also like to point out that if you look online, and I'm sure you will, sure many of you already have, a lot of people when they say the Hirajoshi scale, they'll talk about the first, the second, or even the third scale shape that was just presented, and they'll say, you know, this is the one, this is the Hirajoshi scale, or even the fourth one that's coming up, which is basically this. So as far as like which one is supposed to be the home base scale, I have no idea. I basically just went on what the Guitar Grimoire said. It seems to be a fairly trusted source for scale and mode information. So yeah, just going off of that. So anyway, back to the third scale here. So basically when I'm looking at this one, let's bring that back up real quick. I'm looking at it, and this is the third one on the screen now. I kind of think of it as the C major scale here. but it is omitting the second interval and the fifth interval. So anyway, back to me. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, root note again. And it's taking out the second, so you go 1, 2, that note is gone, and then 3, 4, 5, that note is now gone. I remember this one was fairly difficult for me to write. I did a few things trying to do something creative with it, and I had a hell of a time getting it to sound like it was supposed to resolve back to that C note. So what ended up happening was this thing here. Nope, wrong one. That's the one. We zoom in on it. Alright, so nice and slow now. Now these little triplets at the end here, so yeah, those are tripleted 30-second notes, so they do happen really damn fast. That kind of felt weird typing it in like that, listening back to it, but then when I would actually play it, it was like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Really damn fast triplets there. So yeah, and then you notice there's a palm mute part at the end here. So for those that actually want to learn these things, and there will be tabs for it up after the live stream is over and published. I will have a blog entry, kind of shows you all the resources, like where I got my notes and all the research stuff that I did. It's going to have all the video clips up there and all the tabs and whatnot. So the palm mute thing at the end there, I just like the way it sounds. I suppose it's not really necessary to do if you want to replicate it yourself. So yeah, time to move on to the fourth. Wrong one. Alright, there we go. So yeah, number 4, I have this, not tabbed, diagram, there we go. Scale shape diagrammed out in the open position as well as the higher octave. So higher octave. And open position. Whoops, I added the note. Oh my god. Take 2 or 3. Okay. Well, that was well done, wasn't it? So this is very closely related to the Phrygian mode. So Phrygian, E Phrygian, you have your root notes, and this might be easier for some people to see if I'm fretting everything. So I'll do it up here. So you got your root note for Phrygian, and then you have a flat second, a flat third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, flat sixth, and a flat 7. And there's the root note again. And this Hirajoshi mode, or the 4th scale shape here, it is omitting the 3rd and 7th note within that Phrygian mode. So if you count 1, 2, 3, that note is gone. 4, 5, 6, 7, that note is gone. Okay, this is the riff is going to be shown here. This is the first one I wrote, and It was one reason why I wanted to put drums on all these riffs, because I kept hearing certain drums for this. So it was challenging a little bit to make it clean. I'm sure someone's going to be, that was terrible, it's sloppy. Oh well, it was fun to do. Got the best I could. Now I'm going to attempt to bring the damn thing up. Alright, so lots of palm muting on this one. Now, why is it doing that? Also, now it's not letting me bring up the tab that I want. I swear. There we go. Okay. It's a finicky ass program. Or maybe it's just me. So yeah, lots of palm muting on this one. A little bit of fast chugginess. Come on. Zoom in, damn it. Alright, so slowly. Whoops. Take two. I missed a pick. So that is that for the fourth riff there, fourth scale shape. So moving on to number 5. There we go. Alright, so this one is a lot like the Lydian mode because it has a sharp 4 in there. So it sounds like this. So doing an F Lydian mode, playing it down here, similar to that shape. You can have 7 notes again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the root note. The interval structure is 1, 2, 3, sharp 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the root note again. In fact, the only difference between a Lydian mode and your Ionian mode or major scale is the raised 4th. It's the only difference, the only thing. And man, that makes a big impact on changing the sound. Alright, so when you compare the Lydian mode, whoops, with this 5th and final mode in the Hirajoshi scale, it's taking out the 2nd and 6th note. So you count 1, 2, that note is gone, 3, 4, 5, 6, that note is gone, 7, and the root note. Alright, time to bring up the video. I just realized I was rambling on and on with the fucking microphone muted. Awesome. I'm sure there are plenty of comments I have not seen yet saying there's no sound. So, apologize for that. For those that are still here. Anyway, you look at the bottom of this graph. These are all the scales put together. And I was going over the mode stuff here. I was saying that I do not like any of the scale shapes the way they were diagrammed out in the grimoire, so I did it myself. Those will be available on my website after this live stream is published. And then you get the modes down here. So basically it stems off of this, the 1, 2, flat 3, 5, and flat 6. And a lot of people, like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, for those that missed that, the Hirojoshi and Kamui scales are not interchangeable, but they mix them up. They'll say one is the other and vice versa. So the only real difference between the Kumoi versus the Hirojoshi is this one, Kamui, has an F sharp or a natural sixth interval, whereas the Hirojoshi has a sixth interval, or a flat six. So the Hirojoshi has a flat six, and the Kamui has a natural six. So this actually makes it, this mode here, very close to the A Dorian mode, which makes it in the key of G, even though there's no G present. So we could say it's just in the key of E minor. Same damn thing. So, looking here at what the grimoire has, you got your intervals for these modes down here. As I mentioned, this one has a natural 6, and this is the only difference between the Kamui and the Hirojoshi. As you see, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes, so this is again pentatonic. So you notice I'm talking faster because I'm trying to speed this shit up, because man, am I running out of time here. I apologize for that, and I apologize for having the damn camera muted. Not camera, the fucking microphone. Anyway, let's get to the next video clip. So that was a fairly short, simple one. That didn't take too long to write. Of course, because it was fairly simple, I decided to record it a shit ton of times because I was trying to get it as perfect as I possibly could, and I probably spent way too much time recording it. Anyway, there it is. Lots of legato. Here we go. Now let's look at the scale shape again. So, as I mentioned, it's very closely related to the Dorian mode. So if I was to play A Dorian, it would look and sound like this. And the difference here is you count the notes. You go 1, 2, 3, 4. That note is eliminated. 5, 6, 7. That note is eliminated. Okay, moving on. Speeding things up here. Trying to, anyway. Using the second scale shape now. Alright, I remembered to unmute the mic. I have to keep muting the mic when I put the video up because the microphone is going to pick up what the speakers are doing. So hopefully the desktop audio is still working every time I play that thing. Anyway, so let's bring up the tab. Lots of gallops, heavily influenced by Iron Maiden. Hopefully that's big enough. That's what she said. Alright, so most of this is palm muted. I just thought it gave it more oomph, a heavier sound doing that. Now you may notice at the end here, I hope you notice, so most of it's palm muted. The reason why I have it tabbed that way when I was writing it, that's just what I naturally wanted to do. For some reason I did not feel like palm muting that, and then I kept the palm mute all the way to this C note here, and then I let go of the palm mute from there. So that's why I have it written this way. For those of you who want to play it, you're welcome to palm mute the whole thing, palm mute none of it, whatever you want to do. Anyway, so let's bring up the scale shape again. So second scale shape in the Kamui scales here is what was used. And because of the flat second, I would say this is a lot like Phrygian, because it has both modes have a flat second. There's no flat 3 in this one, so you have a root note, flat second, 4, 5, flat 7, and back to the root notes. So again, that is root note, flat second, 4, 5, flat 7, back to the root note. So notes, numbers, if you want to call it that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Root note, the ones that have been cut out from the Phrygian mode to make this Kamui mode. You go 1, 2, 3, that note is gone. 4, 5, 6, that note is gone. So the 4th and 6th note in the Phrygian mode, cut out to get that. Okay, on to the third scale shape. This one was a pain in the fucking ass to write for, because resolving to the note that starts this thing, bring that back up. So basically this is a lot like Lydian, and man, my ear was having a hard time finding something that really resolved. I'm not even sure if it really does resolve, but oh well, whatever. Something happened, and something's happening again, because now I'm bringing up the thing. Alright, so here we go. That was one of the most difficult ones to record and write. Major pain in the butt, especially because the constant note picking, and it's really all palm muted except for the very, very end. Here it is. See, all palm muted except for the very, very end. There's a little bit of difference that shows up. So go through that slowly here. Yeah, that was a big pain in the butt. Had to metronome the shit out of that one to get it ready for recording. So, okay, bring up the scale shape. Not you. You! Alright, so the third one on the page. And this one is closely related to Lydian mode. So, Lydian, in this case, would be C Lydian. If you count the notes, just number them 1 through 7. The notes that are eliminated, you go 1, 2, that's cut out. 3, 4, 5, that's cut out. 6, 7, root note. So the second and fifth notes of the C Lydian mode, axed. They're gone, dead. And that gives us this sound. See, when I do that, it's like, oh, my ear feels so much better when it goes down one more note. But that's not the mode. So it's almost like a mode that always feels like there's suspense and tension with it. It's like, because you want it to resolve to another note, but it doesn't. It's just like, fuck. Oh well. Okay, so now on to the fourth mode shape here. Let's just bring up the video first. Alright, now let's bring up. That is not what I wanted to have brought up. You son of a bitch. There we go. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit more. Alright, so slowly. Alright, so now let's bring up the scale shapes again. Da-da-da-dum. There we go. So that was the fourth one. I played it at the octave higher because why the hell not? So going over this, what intervals do we have here? We have the root note, second, fourth interval, fifth interval, which could be several modes. But then you have the flat 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, flat 6, and then the root note again. So what I'm thinking of on this one is more of a blues scale kind of thing. So what I mean by that, if I play an F sharp minor blues, and I play the shape below that, in fact, I think I screwed something up there. That's what it is. I apologize. I hardly ever play blues scales. That's the shape below the F minor one, or F sharp minor. So that's what I'm thinking of. It's very close to a blues scale shape. Of course, you just minus that note there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You take out the 6th note in that shape. Anyway, so one more riff to go here. It's already been 49 minutes. That's crazy. I need to work on shortening up these stream things, so I want to take at least 10 minutes to answer questions. But still haven't looked at the YouTube screen to see what the hell's going on. Hopefully it's still streaming. The microphone's on this time still. Fucking A. Alright, last one. Bring up the video. So that was a fun one to write and play. It was actually one of the more difficult ones as well. In fact, let's bring this part up first. No, that's fine. Let's do that here. This bar was especially the biggest pain in the ass. Big pain in the ass. Because it felt better to switch to economy picking amidst all kinds of alternate picking, which, yeah, kind of throws a wrench in the works there a little bit sometimes. Anyway, here we go. Okay, and now, so bottom, near the bottom of the screen, the fifth shape is what was used, and again, this is a lot like the F sharp minor blues scale. You just take out the fifth note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that note is gone. So this one has a very, come on, damn it, there we go, a very bluesy sound to it. So that one, that riff kind of got written fairly fast because it was easy to resolve back to that F sharp again and again. So yeah, I think I've rambled on enough. I wanted to go over a few more things, but we're just about out of time. I'm just about out of time. So again, there will be a blog thing. I will put a link to this, or to the blog, in YouTube's video description of this. So this way you can look at all the scale shape stuff. You can look at all the notes, and I'll talk about like where you can find on different sites how the scale is named different things, different places, and whatnot. Okay, time to comb through comments. Actually, there's not that many comments. Holy moly. I think the best, oh, this is top chat. Let's see, can I look at all of them? All messages are visible. What do we got going on here? Anything different? I absolutely... Shredmaster Scott asked, are these scales going to get me more sex? I think he knows more about scales that will get you laid than I do. I haven't had success in it, but then again, I haven't tried. Eduardo asked, where can we find your courses for a well-structured and organized way to learn how to play electric guitar? Well, I'm currently working on those right now. So, the more expensive way and the fastest way to learn, sign up for the Skype lessons. If you're a Patreon member, you can actually do something where you, I think it's like, yeah, $20 a month pledge. You get a free Skype evaluation on your technique stuff, and just kind of see where you're at, and I can give you some exercises and whatnot of that one to kind of get you started there. And then after that, as long as you continue the 20-month pledge, 30-minute lessons each month, just one though. I don't remember what the other price tiers I had set up, but that's a cheaper way to get like a couple lessons each month, is do it through Patreon. But the instruction course stuff right now, it's not out yet. but I have been working on them. Right now I have the metal and rock guitar basics. I have 70 exercises for that, 7 etudes to go along with them. There's some supplemental exercises on some of those things where I felt they were necessary and helpful. I think I'm going to add a few more things. I haven't done anything on vibrato or pinch harmonics or just natural harmonics in that yet. I'm going to throw those in at the end. I also have a legato course pretty much written that also has 70 exercises, 7 etudes. And then working on the bends course right now, which is the biggest pain in the butt because transcribing stuff, bends and whatnot in Guitar Pro is a pain in the ass. It takes quite a bit of time, so that's been slow going. But then after that's done, I'm going to be putting out or writing the finger tapping course to go after that, and then you have a sweep picking course that's going to happen, a palm mute pattern course, and guitar rhythm course as well. And I'm waiting till I have all that stuff done, so like it's a big library of work. So basically you can start, with the basics thing for new people and just kind of work from one course to the next. So there you go. Let's see. Any other questions? Hank asked, what's up? Well, me trying to get used to this live stream shit and fucking up on the way. That's what. I don't think you missed all of it, Count. How about a hyper-picking course? Well, I'm curious. Count, are you still watching right now? Thank you, Eduardo. Hey, Count is watching. Right on. A hyper-picking course. That's a short-ass course, man. I mean, you saw that hyper-picking video. It's basically jiggle your arm as fast as you can and then eventually try and slap some notes on there, or as he did, slop some notes in there and see what can happen. But I do plan on redoing that whole book on what I'm giving out for free to people that sign up for the newsletter on how to be the fastest guitar player, which I think is a silly name now, considering the things that have changed. But maybe it's going to be a whole course, or not really a course, but all the advice I can think of on how to get people to play as fast as possible. So it will talk about getting the jiggle picking or hyper picking going. So we got a few minutes left here. I'm surprised, not many questions. The first live Q&A I did, there were more. Maybe that's just because that was the basis of the whole thing. Well, I think it's about time to sign off here. Drink some water, because I'm getting parched. And it looks like the live stream just kind of froze up anyway. No, it's back again. Alright guys, well, appreciate everyone who did come to watch. And for those that watch this after it's been published, I'm going to do another live stream in 2 weeks. And I don't know what I'm going to do. What's the subject? I'm going to look it up. I'm looking it up right now. Because I'm basically doing the live stream stuff to answer questions from YouTube viewers that have been waiting on answers for some people, unfortunately, I think like 2 years. Shit got away from me, man. It just did. The next one is ending a bend with no bend release. That's going to be a fast live stream there. Hopefully people will have questions on that one. So yeah, that was the next question that was answered. And then another one, someone asked, KFO intro range for standard tuned 6-string guitar from Animals as Leaders. That's probably going to be a pain in the ass to figure out. Another question someone asked was doing diminished scale riffs, the half whole, and diminished scale chord progressions, the half whole, and then down picking guitar exercises. So, got a few stuff. And again, I'm doing this on a bi-weekly basis. Start with a metal cover of Happy Birthday. I'll do my best to remember. Maybe I'll change the mode to make it sound a bit more demonic. Alright. I think it's time to sign off. So, I'll come up with a happy birthday metal version and talk about how to end a bend without a bend release. So, there we go. Live stream complete.